Good Wednesday morning, everybody. Live and direct from House Onek. I'm meteorologist Austen Onek, nicknamed Oz, therefore Weather from Oz as the title of the weather podcast here. Welcome to the show. If you've never been here before, quick check of weather across the Mid-South. And as of right now, if you can tell again by the radar from across the south central United States, courtesy of Penn State, there showing again a few sprinkles to our west and a few thunderstorms back to our east. We'll talk about that in detail in just a little bit. We're going to throw out most of the usual stuff we do today because we've got a pretty major situation down in the Gulf of Mexico, and we'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. Currently, there's not much going on. Shelby County, again, showing little, if anything, in the way of development. A few roost rings showing off where those circles show up on the radar. Those are flocks of birds taking off and doing a very good job of kicking up a few insects as they go along as well. But in the meantime, there's not that much happening. Meanwhile, back to our east, showers and thunderstorms from northeast Mississippi into around northwestern parts of Alabama. A few flash flood warnings back to the south of Tuscumbia and south and east of Boonville in that area, so watch out for there. Back to our west, got a few showers and a few leftover thunderstorms west of Little Rock down toward Mena and north of the DeQueen area, north of Texarkana. But beyond that, again, things are pretty quiet directly for the Mid-South. We will see more chances of showers and thunderstorms developing later on today, so go ahead and take the umbrella with you. Big weather story of the day is, of course, Laura in the Gulf of Mexico. Winds of approximately 110 miles per hour. So as of right now, we are looking at some pretty strong conditions from this particular storm making its way northward, and this is where we are seeing again the possibility of some more issues out of this as we go throughout the next couple of days. What we are looking for right now is landfall somewhere along the Texas-Louisiana coastline. Rapid intensification last night. The current view from weathernerds.org, if you'd like to see their satellite pictures there, really picked up in intensity. This could make landfall. It's a Category 3 right now, and it could make landfall as a Category 4 later on tonight. There are plenty of watches and warnings in effect, basically from Corpus Christi almost all the way over to the mouth of the Mississippi River. So anything south of the area around Texarkana in that area and down to the Gulf Coast, not a good place to be visiting. Try to avoid that if you can as that storm makes landfall and heads its way back up to the north and to the east. Excuse me. The pattern of this is again going to be taking the storm system to landfall tonight just after midnight. Again, well to the west of New Orleans, much closer to Houston than for comfort's sake after last year's major amounts of rainfall from the one hurricane that they had. But you notice this curves back up and over again toward the Mid-South. The M stands for major hurricane. That's Category 3 and above. S is for tropical storm strength, so it weakens as it moves on shore. Once these things move over land, they lose about 50% of their power, and that is where the storm will still be intact. It'll still be a tropical storm with lots of winds by 1 p.m. Thursday, but it's going to be cut off from its source of power, which is the ocean. So that's why it starts to degrade a little bit. By 1 a.m. Friday, it'll be a D, a tropical depression, and that curves it right over the Mid-South area back through northeast Arkansas. Now, does that mean we're going to be getting hurricane-force winds? No. It does mean that we are going to be getting some unique properties out of this storm into the next couple of days. From windy.com, looking at this storm moving its way on through, let's go back to the beginning here. The storm itself sitting just offshore and making its way northward. Fairly intense winds on this, which will be starting to make their way toward the coast around Lake Charles, east of Houston, and still intensifying. It's over some very warm water at this point. Doesn't look like it'll be making landfall until very late tonight, early into tomorrow morning, and that's again where the problem is going to be, right between Houston and New Orleans. Very powerful hurricane, lots of damage possible here. And again, anything south of Alexandria, west of Lafayette, Louisiana, could be the major portion of problems here. Now let's go forward a little bit more As we watch this storm make its way through the area of northern Louisiana, it's going to start to take a little bit more of an easterly course from southern over northeastern Arkansas. But notice that we are going to be seeing the possibility here of some very tight pressure gradients. This is going to be a very deep storm in the atmosphere, and we're going to see some pretty breezy winds from Little Rock all the way over to the Mississippi River, close to the Mid-South area. Again, this is not going to be hurricane force winds, but it is going to be very much on the breezy side. At 20 to 40 mile per hour winds, not out of the question on this. National Weather Service in Memphis is showing the possibility of some damaging winds from storms that develop. Heavy rainfall, flash flooding could be an issue with this storm as it passes through central Arkansas and north of I-40 into early Friday morning, and there could be the potential of some tornadoes with this. So again, as this gets closer to the Mid-South area, making its way up a little closer to us, circling through the Mid-South, we could see some severe weather in here as well, so that's definitely something to watch out for. Rainfall at this point looks like the worst of the worst will be maybe 6 inches plus in central Arkansas around Little Rock, south of Harrison, down to roughly about El Dorado, and that's going to be about the worst of it. But we will catch some pretty good rainfall here, about 2 to 4 inches over the I-40 corridor, so that could be, again, an issue there. We'll be looking for those winds to be picking up on Thursday night. Those are just the winds out there through about early Friday morning, about 10 to 20 miles an hour, but wind gusts could easily be topping about 20 miles per hour. And as we go into Friday specifically, winds directly in the Mid-South area could be looking at the potential. If my data would load, that'd be nice. There we go. Showing again 10 to 20 mile per hour winds sustained and wind gusts possible as we get into the rest of Friday. Calming down pretty quickly, but there is going to be a possibility Jonesboro back to Little Rock, maybe around 30 mile per hour wind gusts, possibly higher in some areas. So again, that's going to be something we're going to need to really watch as we go through the next few days. Forecast from the Weather Underground showing the chances of showers and thunderstorms, again, moving their way through the Mid-South, getting out of here, but could be a return to some showers and thunderstorms as we leave the month and head into September. Temperatures also looking a little bit nicer, going back through about the mid-80s on Sunday with more clouds, more showers and thunderstorms. Notice also we're looking at the possibility on Friday of at least 1 inch plus of rainfall. So pretty soggy around here. We need it, and that would be nice to have, but more rainfall on the way. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, clearing out and warming back up again, but it does not look like it's going to be anything in the way of a heat wave, so that's very good news as we go into the middle part of next week and the early portion of September. Most importantly, let's take a look and see if there's anything else going on out there. We are approaching the peak of hurricane season. That happens September 10th, and as of right now, except for Laura sitting in the Gulf of Mexico, there is nothing else forming at this time all the way back to the African Sahel and into the mid-Atlantic. So very good news right now. Definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on. Plus, there is a pretty good amount of dust coming in from portions of the area around the Caribbean and back into and around the areas of the mid-Atlantic. Another burst of this dust will do a very good job of keeping things, hopefully, a little quieter as we go throughout the course of the next few days. Make certain to stay tuned to my social media pages over the next few days as we keep you updated on Laura. And again, please be prepared for the possibility. Don't be scared. There's no reason to be panicky about anything, but please make certain that you are ready to go when it comes necessary for severe weather purposes. Have your cell phone charged. Have, again, a place to go to protect yourself. Make certain you've got shelter available. Do all that ahead of time before the storm arrives. If you'd like to know more about that, National Weather Service has some good safety tips, and you can find out more on my social media websites. And stay tuned because we will be tracking this over the course of the next several days, so stay tuned for more on that. This has been Weather from Oz. I'm meteorologist Austen Onek. Thanks for joining us on this Peak of the Week Wednesday. More of your forecasts coming up on my social media channels, so stay tuned. Thanks for joining us.